Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully your favorite Darktide YouTuber, and I'm here to bring you my all new Psyker build. Okay, what we're gonna do here, as you guys have seen on the stream, if you guys are interested in seeing the action of this, okay, tune into this particular stream that I did, and you will actually see me test all of this live. You'll see me do some insane things with this build, and honestly, we'll make it through quite a few missions in Auric Damnation, despite the fact that our random teammates may not always be the greatest. Alright? So, what is this build all about? Well, you see, Fat Shark recently caused a bug with all of the lightning skills, causing them to hit randomly and do all sorts of randomized damage. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take advantage of that bug, alright, that they themselves have caused, again, and we're gonna create an insanely overpowered build for the Psyker in patch 15. Here, let me give you a little taste of it, okay? Watch this. I want you to watch this. Okay. So, you see these random mobs here. First, we cast a little bit of that, a little bit of lightning, and then watch what happens. Guaranteed double shot crit. Okay, with Soul Blaze attached as well. This power can enable you to do a lot of very spiffy things. Okay? Take, for example, being able to do something like that. Nearly wiping out Maulers. Actually, you do wipe out Maulers in one shot, because it's a guaranteed critical that inflicts Soul Blaze. Huh. So, how do you go about constructing this insane build? Well, let's go through the talent tree first. So, camera vanish. Alright, here we go. Talent tree first, and then we'll go from there. Now, this particular build is a modification of the original Smite build that we had, but we're going to pick some very different talents, and we're going to pick Empowered Psionics, alright? So how do we construct this? First of all, Soul Stealer. Why? You're going to be doing a lot of warp killing. This will help you replenish toughness, which you really need considering how many gunners spawn in Auric Damnation. Quietude and warp expenditure all helps you regenerate toughness. You need a lot of sources of toughness regeneration. Battle meditation is thrown aside because honestly you got no time to quell. If you're gonna quell actively, otherwise, you know, don't rely on this anymore. Perilous Combustion, when you kill an elite or specialist enemy, it'll help you spread Soul Blaze. This is pretty useful because you can connect it to a toughness boost. Also, get Perfect Timing. Whenever you get a critical hit, your warp damage increases. This is pretty useful because guess what? You can critically hit quite a bit with this build. Alright, so toughness boost here as well, needed. Then you can connect to Smite. Okay, now with Smite, you just want to grab the Lightning Storm so that your Smite can hit more targets. Okay, grab your Peril Resistance, grab Psykinetics Aura. Every time you kill those elites or specialists, you're going to reduce the ability cooldown for you and your allies, means more abilities all around the board. Wildfire is very good because you're going to be spreading a lot of Soul Blaze with this build. Kind of weird, although it's not a perk staff, but hey, this is what really helps, okay? Then you've got Seer's Presence down here, which will give you 10% cooldown reduction on abilities for you and your allies in Coherency. Everybody gets to cool down their abilities even faster. One with the Warp grants you toughness damage reduction based on your current peril. Peril Resistance here, grab your Venting Shriek. This is on a base cooldown of 30 seconds, and guess what? Now it's only on 27 seconds, considering the fact that the Psyker always has combat ability regeneration on his Curios. This drops down even further, and you end up with a cooldown of somewhere around, usually about 24-25 seconds. This is pretty good because you really want to be burning stuff fast, okay? Becalming Eruption is good because it'll help you decrease your peril generation by 1% for each enemy hit, but realistically, this is only necessary for Creeping Flames. Creeping Flames will allow your Venting Shriek to apply 1 to 6 stacks of Soul Blaze based on your current peril, okay? You want to get Peril Resistance here, go to the middle tree, get your health boost, grab Warp Rider for 20% more damage from all sources based on current peril, grab your toughness, grab Empowered Psionics, which will, it's mostly just a bit of a filler since you're going down this tree anyway. You can grab it to help you empower your Smite and allow for faster spreading between enemies, which you really want. Why do you want this? Because this is part of your way of dealing with hordes, okay? Overpowering Souls will help you guarantee more Empowered Psionics on elite kills, allowing you to smite and do even more with Smite. And Charged Up will allow you to hold 3 stacks of Empowered Psionics, which is pretty good. Next, go for Critical Chance Boost, Kinetic Deflection, Movement Speed Boost, and what really brings this together is True Aim. Whenever you land 5 weak spot hits, your next range attack is a guaranteed critical. This, coupled with your armaments, will allow you to consistently hit critical hits on the enemy. Alright? This is what pulls the entire build together. When I show you the weapons, I will later demonstrate how all of it fits together in one smooth operation that'll allow you to really kick the ass of anything coming your way. Okay? But remember, true aim. Just remember this because it's going to be important for this build. Alright? Watch what happens when you start adding it to your armor. Well, to your armaments, I should say, since we don't actually have armor. First, your melee weapon. Now, with this one, you've got some flexibility. You can go with either a dueling sword or a force sword that has deflector. Why? You've got kinetic deflection. You can use this to survive against enemy gunfire if you like. I leave the choice with you, okay? But my personal choice has always been dueling sword. Why? Anti-mutant combat. I always go for those one-shot head stabs if I can, which I feel is very necessary at Auric Damnation level. But if you prefer a force sword with deflector, you can go for it. You can go with the Deimos, Illici, whatever you want, okay? But for me, I'm using the Macabian Mark IV Dueling Sword. Shred and Uncanny Strike are the two standard perks on this. 25% damage to Maniacs is your most important perk. Sorry, these are the two standard blessings. And your most standardized perk is 25 Maniac damage, so you can really one-shot the muties, okay? Damage has to be as high as possible, obviously. Finesse as high as possible, so that you can get more weak spot and power multiplier. Penetration as high as possible, just for the other targets, such as Crushers and Maulers, which you may have to deal with, okay, using your Dueling Sword. Mobility, try to at least get it 65 or so. Why? Because the higher the better. So you want to try and roll this as high as possible. Cleave damage can be anywhere above 60 and it should be good enough to go. But damage, finesse, and penetration are your main stats, okay? That's it for your Dueling Sword. Now, let's talk about your ranged weapon. This is what really makes this build awesome. Okay, what you want to get is a good Voidstrike staff. Blast radius should try to be larger than 60 if you can. Why? Because although it's not going to make all that much difference between 60 and 70, large blast radius does help you knock people off their feet a little better. However, the stats you want to focus on with this is damage, charge rate, especially important because the Voidstrike staff charges very slowly. Warp resistance, anything above 65 is good. If you get above 70, that's really good. Quell speed tends to be a bit of a dumb stat, but with this, because you don't have the solidity talent, you will want to get your quell speed at least to 70. I happen to roll 79, that was good enough for me. Blast radius above 60, I was okay with it. And damage 80, this was, you know, glorious. But in terms of your perks and blessings for the Voidstrike staff, what you will want is your critical strike chance to be 5%. This is the most important perk. The other one can be any sort of damage perk, it doesn't really matter. But your blessings, you have one mandatory blessing, Surge. You must get Surge because it is very important. Without Surge, this build falls apart. Otherwise, you won't get the double shots on crit, which is not going to help you. The other one, Blazing Spirit, is okay, is pretty okay. For Blazing Spirit, try to get it to tier 4, but tier 3 is good enough. If you don't have Blazing Spirit, you can replace this with Warp Nexus. You can replace it with any other blessing you want. But ideally, get Blazing Spirit because it will work together with critical hits. Have you noticed that this build is all focused around critical hits? Once again, if you remember from the talent tree, we're going for True Aim. True Aim will let your next ranged attack be a guaranteed critical hit. This will allow you to spread Soul Blaze with your staff, which can spread to other targets via Wildfire. And then on top of that, you have Surge, which gives you 2 shots on a critical hit. It is beautiful. You do 2 criticals, which means 6 stacks of Soul Blaze. It's just beautiful. And of course, insane damage. Alright? Now, before we move on to the demonstration of this build, let me talk about Curios. Okay, Curios, 3 stamina, 17 toughness, 21 max health. Standard across the board for Psykers. This still hasn't changed in this patch. In terms of your perks, Gunner resistance, toughness, regeneration, speed across the board are most important. You must have this on all 3 Curios. For your third perk, you can go with, in my case, I happen to have max health and 2 combat ability regeneration perks on my third perk. Okay, but realistically speaking, if you can get combat ability regeneration across the board, that would be most ideal. Okay, that is about it. Now, you guys have seen what I'm running. You guys know what I'm running. Now, let me talk about this. How do you actually use this in the field? Okay, Here is a more detailed demonstration of how we use this in the field. If you pay attention to the stream where I was using this live, what I tend to do is I will first, hit with my smite. This helps me slow down hordes. Then I hit with a massive hit of Soul Blaze, alright? I'll use my Venting Shriek, since I don't have to worry about warp charges. Then I'll fire through and get a guaranteed crit, setting enemies ablaze and killing priority targets such as mutants, specials, whatever. Alright, and then the process repeats again. Now if I don't have Venting Shriek up, what I'll usually do is I will hit with my smite. Okay, once my true aim is ready, I'll just go for a distant target and attempt to dish out as much damage as possible. Even if you cannot do this, guess what? Sometimes you may just trigger it on your own, and you'll just see 2 shots fly out at the enemy and absolutely Shrek them. Alright? So don't be afraid to use the Voidstrike staff aggressively on distant targets. Basically, if I can, I will just ramp up my peril, hit them hard with a Venting Shriek, because it has such a nice long range. Then I'll line up as many targets as I can, get the guaranteed crit, and just start blasting. Alright? Some people like to use this, the Surge with Warp Nexus, but I find the Soul Blaze even better, because it can do some pretty specky shit. If you end up like really wanting to use this well, take note that once you stack up your true aim, owing to the fact that Smite Lightning can now hit weak spots randomly, like it's fully randomized, but because you hit so many targets, you get it pretty easily. You can actually aim a critical headshot at the Crusher. Oops, sorry, that probably wasn't a good example since the Crusher was already weak. But if you stack it up really fast, like that, and you keep a bit of peril for your Warp Rider, you can end up dealing devastating damage to Crushers. Bulwarks all across the board. Let's try it again on a Bulwark. Full charge on a Bulwark dishes out immense damage, and they may sometimes even die from the Soul Blaze. See how that works? It's just beautiful to see all this come together, which is why, since they, sort of bugged the whole staff. Oh, sorry, on a Reaper, that Reaper was already weakened. Give me a second. Let me charge that up again. On a Reaper, this is what it will look like. Fully charged, guaranteed hits. Both shots will hit the head. Now, there's a slight delay, so you want to try and aim for the center of the head if you can. But yeah, as you can see, it does devastating amounts of damage, and it passes on the Soul Blaze as well. So if you burn out a huge horde, all the specials are going to take damage. The specials will pass on Soul Blaze to other nearby specials. Basically, it's this constant engine of burning thanks to Wildfire. Now, if you do not like Wildfire, okay, for some weird reason, and you just don't want to use it, that's completely fine. You can actually take this out and plonk your point anywhere, like Empathetic Evasion. You can possibly get some more toughness. You can go for some toughness damage reduction. I mean, it's really up to you what you want to do here. But I prefer Wildfire in this build because it's just useful. It's just useful. Some people like to also go for Battle Meditation if you really need that. Or Enfeeble in order to make your Smite have enemies take even more damage from all your teammates. This can be used in coordinated teams. But like I said, I just prefer Wildfire because in the panic situation, I like to handle everything myself. So yeah, overall, this is what it does. Rather than worry about the fact that, oh, lightning now hits a random spot, I was thinking to myself, how can we make the best advantage of this? While Surge is a little bit neutered, thanks to the fact that now it can no longer, like the damage will be randomized on your Surge staff, this is actually pretty great for Smite because it'll randomly hit weak spots, trigger this thing. Smite cannot trigger a guaranteed crit, so it will never waste your, actually, I should really find out the name of this. True Aim. Okay, True Aim. It is True Aim. I keep getting confused by the name and thinking it's something else. Smite will never waste this. Smite will never waste this. So all you do is whenever it's ready, you just switch to the Voidstrike staff. Bada bing, bada boom. You've got some devastating action going on, and you are going to absolutely shred your opponents. Alright? Thanks to being able to use Venting Shriek aggressively as well, you can burn out entire hordes, which I absolutely love. That's it for the build. Try it out for yourself. If you can get all these perks, and I think and I swear it will change your game. You are going to find yourself dealing with entire hordes of armored targets. I've done it in Maelstrom. Now, the Maelstrom run did fail because unfortunately they lost it when they could no longer handle the armored hordes. But if you watch that Maelstrom run on stream, I was shooting through hordes of armored targets like, no problem. I got this, guys. I got this. I was the last man standing. And I got whacked because, too many enemy spawns and it's just me, myself. I couldn't get to those guys. But it is very strong. So do try it out for yourself, alright? Let me know if you like it. If you like this build, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Normally, I tried putting the combat demonstration in this, but since we already did a recent stream of it, if you really want to see the combat demonstration, go check out that stream. You'll see frequent examples of me doing this because basically that's all I played the entire stream, and you can just fast forward to any point, just see it in combat. Alright? Thank you very much for watching this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to see more, hit that like button. If you want to support the channel, you know, do super chats, super thanks. You can join as a channel member, up to you. You can set a tip via the link in the description video. All up to you. It's your choice. Thank you very much for those of you supporting this channel. And now let me thank some of the amazing people that have made all these builds happen. I do sincerely apologize because we're in the middle of rejigging some of our listings for the top supporters on stream, so I'm not going to read out those names temporarily just for this one video, but we are going to thank all of our channel members. And again, I do sincerely apologize for not doing up the list properly because, yeah, we've had some minor errors on YouTube, and I beg your forgiveness for this. You guys will be thanked properly in the next video, and I post a video every day, so I sincerely apologize again. Death Dawning 982 is our top member. Okay, at Plus Ultra, we've got Yuri, Jason Kun, Jerry Fast, Rogue Assassin, Zach, FG Prestige. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to our honored robots as well. Thank you to Nico, Matthew, Twan, Donald Smith, Some Dummy Head, Lou Fan Arts, The King, Curry, Link Octavian, Cube, Philip, Uno, BVS Fang, Vikram Bao, Chris Mob, Commander Farsight, Day, Atomica, Emix, George Rakoss, Cordova, Nightshade, Devin Deshin, Mookie Mocha, Rena, Nathan Strong, Lady Neo, Joey Danze, Sayed Assad, Coda CMF, Kami Simich, and Benjamin Savage. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all of our cool and weird bots as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one. Get you later.